Candace Owens has done nothing, you guys, nothing but dropped facts, evidence, and receipts. And she's forcing everything out to the light. And now apparently she just made this whole thing up that someone is trying to assassinate her, meaning that the French government didn't have nothing to do with it. The French government was not trying to make an attempt to assassinate her. It was all made up. It was all imagination, a figment, of her imagination. And it was all made up. That she just falsified herself and just say, I'm just bored and I'm just going to, say, I'm just going to pretend that someone is trying to assassinate me and post it on my social media page on Instagram and TikTok and X just to get attention. Like, she's not already popular as it is. Like, people are just so dumb. Like, you're dumb. Like, think about it. So she's trying to get more noticeable and get more popular, especially on that week of Thanksgiving, just to make up a story that there's a hit on her so she can get some clicks and likes. Like, people are just so dumb and have no common sense. And the thing is, no one's not buying it, okay? No one's not buying it. No one doesn't believe anything what people say about Candace Owens that she made this up, because apparently there's a whistleblower in France that told her all these details information about the assassination on her. And it turned out to be incredible. It turned out to be facts, okay? There was a hit on this woman, okay? And apparently all the receipts were dropped to the FBI. The report was given to the FBI. The report was given to Donald Trump directly, and it was put on his desk a week ago. Did he look at it? No. Did he reach out to Candace Owens? No. Did the FBI director, Kash Patel, reach out to Candace Owens? No. Did the terrorist facility or whatever you call it reach out to her? No. Why is that, you guys? Because they want her dead. They want to silence her, okay? Because she is getting close, and there's something had to do with Brigitte Macron, like she mentioned, and the government don't want us to know anything, okay? Candace Owens, the White House, don't want Candace Owens to dig up or to search anything that has anything to do with Brigitte Macron. Because just remember back ago that someone reached out to her, and we didn't know who, but it was Charlie Kirk when he was alive, and told Candace Owens, pump the brakes, don't talk about Brigitte Macron, don't even start doing a second series of becoming Brigitte Macron. And she stopped for a little bit, because apparently someone told Charlie Kirk, it's national security or whatever, and I'm just paraphrasing here, that she can't speak about it. Then she put a pause on it. The next you know, then she resumed back to it. So it really pissed the White House off that, Candace Owens, she can't be stopped, okay? You can't tell this woman what to do or what to say, because she's just going to do it 10 times better. You get what I'm saying? She's not a type of woman that she is easily to be threatened, easily to what's the word? Intimidate her. She's not the one. And I don't know why people try to intimidate her, trying to threaten her, trying to bankrupt her. The woman don't give two shits about money. Okay? It's about God, family, and truth. The way, the life, and the truth. What Jesus says. Okay? She doesn't care about all that. And she made that very abundantly clear. So I don't know what else. They know this. So what else they can do, because obviously they can't shut her up. Obviously they can try to take her to court. She don't care about that. Okay? So the only way to shut her up is to make an attempt to assassinate this woman. Okay? To scare her. To put fear on her. And you would think our government, our White House, our president, you would think they would reach out to this woman. And nothing. Crickets. Radio silence. You would think. Because I would think if there was a threat on an American citizen, you would think that the White House, the FBI, will reach out to the person and investigate this. No, they're not doing that. You know why? Because they want that woman dead. They want to shut her up and set an example. And think about this. If Candace Owens made this up, right, and it was a figment of her imagination, and she did this to get clicks and likes, don't you think the FBI would arrest her by now? Don't you think the FBI would investigate to see what she's saying is true? Of course they would. Of course they would arrest her. You know what? They know it's true. They know what Candace Owens is saying is true, and that's why they haven't done anything. Think about it. It would be hopefully I'm saying this right, a federally charged, okay? She will go to prison making up a story like that, okay? It's a vanity. Hopefully I'm saying it right, not vanity. Oh my God, I can't even pronounce the word. I'm sorry. You get what I'm saying, okay? Because I don't want to keep saying it and butchering it. And she'd be arrested. Think about it. If you falsify and make a claim that someone made an attempt on your life and it's not true, you're going to jail, okay? It's just like same thing with that movie Gone Girl or anything. If you make a false accusation, not false accusation, when you make a false kidnapping, okay, let's try that. False kidnapping, and you pretend and you tell law enforcement, I was kidnapped when you're not kidnapped, or someone took your kid when no one didn't take your kid, you probably killed your child, and you have all these people searching for your kid, resources and everything, and it turned out to be false. You're going to jail. Think about it. She would have went to jail by now. But obviously what she's saying is true, and the White House know about this, Trump knows about this, the FBI knows about this, and not doing anything. And on top of that, think about this, you guys. Wouldn't the President Emmanuel Macron would make a statement? Would his PR would make a statement about that? What Candace is saying was true or not true? Think about it. And they didn't. So apparently she's onto something, and it frightens them. Okay? And the thing also too, the only reason that Candace Owens is doing, the only reason they're keeping Candace Owens alive, because she is laying everything out for everyone, you guys. Think about it. She's laying everything out for everyone, okay? It's not like with Charlie Kiirk when we didn't know what the hell was going to happen on 9/10. He just went to an event and something happened, and hold on, you guys. I'm just going to press pause because my dog is eating something that he's not supposed to. So hold on for a second. I'll be right back. I am so sorry, you guys, that I had to stop recording and I had to resuming back because my dog was eating something that he's not supposed to do, and I'm not trying to go to an emergency room for pets, for my dog, okay? Anyhow, like I was saying, it's different from Charlie Kiirk because we all had no idea that this was going to happen to Charlie Kiirk. With Charlie Kiirk assassination, this was planned out, probably for months, okay? Or maybe years, who knows? Maybe years. This was all planned out, okay? Where Charlie Kiirk was going to be, how he was going to get assassinated, who was going to be on the ground in that campus, It was all planned out. And what the FBI knew about this as well, planned the whole narrative and everything. When it comes to Candace Owens, they can't plan it out. They can't plan a narrative because we're not dumb and we're not stupid. We will all know, God forbid, 6 months down the line, if this woman ends up dead, we know who did it. We know who did it. We know that the government had assassinated Candace Owens. We just know because all the evidence is laid out. It is directly towards the White House, towards the French government, the Israeli government, the Egyptian people as well that's involved in it. You all know, and we're not going to be stupid. And I just want to make this very, very clear. If anything happens to her, because I know God is good, but if anything happens to Candace Owens, I can guarantee you this, and this is not a threat, okay, that hell will break, okay? Hell will break if anything happens to Candace Owens. Do you think people are going to just sit by and let this go? Let this continue? No, okay? People may stop paying their taxes, stop paying things. They're going to be chaos. I'm not saying that there should be chaos. I'm just saying if something happened to this woman, and we all know that the government has planned this, okay, things will never be the same in the United States, period. That's all I'm going to say about that. Things will never be the same again, okay? I'm just going to tell you this now. Because with Charlie Kiirk, we didn't know in the beginning, okay? We thought it was just a long shooter, and that was about it. Until a lot of people were doing an investigation, putting two together, and then the FBI narrative didn't make sense. The Tyler Robinson text messages between his lover didn't make sense. None of it made sense. And you don't have to be an intelligent agent. You don't have to work in the FBI. You don't have to have some type of fancy degree. All you have to have is common sense and read. That's it. Common sense and read. And put two and two together. And to realize what the FBI is saying made no freaking sense. That the FBI is so effing dumb. They think that we're stupid. They think that it's the 1960s, that we don't have common sense. This is 2025. This is the new age of technology. Okay? Back in the days, they didn't have all that stuff. So they absolutely can cover shit up back in those days. Now you can't. You can try. They can try, which they've been doing for decades. The FBI covering things up, lying, killing people, blackmailing people, bankrupt people, make them disappear. That's what they're good at. They're not good at protecting people and protecting innocents. They're good at killing, getting rid of them, bankrupting them, okay, making them disappear, make their life a miserable hell. That's what the FBI is good at. That's what the government is good at. They're not your friends. I keep saying that. They're not your friends. They're not for the people. And the more people realize that, the more people will understand that. They are not for us. They're not for the people. They don't give two shits about us. And it took me a long time to realize that, like I said. They don't care. Because if they did, they would definitely reach out to Candace Owens and have some type of protection over her, investigate this, make a press conference about this. Haven't they? No. Again, radio silence and crickets. Okay? All I'm saying is, if anything happens to her within the 6 months, okay, things will never be the same again in our United States of America. Okay? I'm just telling you this. Things will never be the same. Also, what else I wanted to address? Yeah, I already addressed the majority of it. And the fact of the matter is, like I said in my previous video, they want to keep us in order. They want to keep us in line because they don't want the White House, the government, they don't want the economy to be affected. Think about this. If they did, put a hit on Candace Owens and God forbid Candace Owens turned out dead, what do you think that means? You think anyone's going to listen to our government? You think anyone is going to pay their taxes or pay bills or pay anything? No, there would be chaos. There would be a lot of, I wouldn't say heartache. There would be a lot of chaos, a lot of things like shit shaking things up. Nice word to put it. Nice way to put it, excuse me. Yeah, think about it. That's why they haven't done anything. And I'm glad that Candace Owens is doing what she's doing because it makes perfect sense. So if the White House or the government even try to put a hit on this woman, it's over. It's a wrap because we all will know that you, the government, when I say you, the government had everything to do with this woman's assassination. And you did nothing about it. Nothing about it. So we are watching. We are watching you clearly. And the thing is, let the woman continue to investigate. Okay? That's not our fault that you guys effed up and you assassinated Charlie Kirk on broad daylight. You could have easily poisoned him somewhere that closed doors. But no, you wanted to set example. You wanted to set example with Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson among other people that we can get to you too. Because if we can get to Charlie Kirk in broad daylight and put a bullet in his throat, we can do it to you. Well, you messed with the wrong person and you assassinated the wrong guy. Because Candace Owens not going to stop. This was her friend, okay? And for the whole world to watch this innocent man to get assassinated like that is absolutely wrong. And this man had done nothing but put his God first, his country, and his family. That's all he did. And he went to different campuses all around the world just to preach the word of God and stuff that's going on in the world and stuff like that. And people didn't like that. And people took advantage of this man. They took his kindness for weakness. And he was getting close to something that was happening in his own foundation, and someone got to him. And someone made an example out of him. And now you just don't want us to ask questions. But when we do ask questions, when we're asking too much questions, then you want us to back up, and not ask any more questions. So you want us to have free speech, but not enough free speech. Which is it? You can't have it both ways. You understand? You can't have it both ways. You cannot just say, oh, we can have our First Amendment rights, but then it's only limited to certain things. What the hell? Does that make any sense? Doesn't make any freaking sense. It doesn't. That's what people fought for. That's what presidents after presidents have these constitutional rights, have all this stuff for the American people. And now you're just trying to take it away from us, and then you just want to limit our speech, limit what we have to say? Absolutely not. I don't think anyone should limit what they have to say or limit their speech. You should say what you want to say, especially if you have proof, especially if it's factual. That's the thing I don't understand. If you tell the truth, they try to kill you. They try to bankrupt you. They try to do everything they can to shut you up and make it seem like you're the crazy one. Like you just made this shit up all in your head when you have proof and evidence. Isn't that something? That's just crazy. Craziness. So, with that being said, everyone is watching. Everyone is listening to Candace Owens, including me. Okay? So, if the government knows what's best for them and the FBI, I will let her continue her investigation and just let it ride. Just let it ride, because that was your mistake, whoever planned this to assassinate Charlie Kirk, to assassinate him in daylight, in broad daylight, for the whole world to see. And you think that we're just going to shut up and just go by your narrative, with your narrative didn't make any sense. That's where you fucked up. Excuse my French. That's where you messed up. With that whole narrative, the text messages and everything, and not investigating, not giving us the update. Oh, we're just going to wait for the trial. No, and then that's it. No. Again, this is not the 60s. Okay? This is 2025. We're not going through that bullshit. I'm sorry. We're not. We're going to find out, okay, who killed Charlie Kirk and why. And if the FBI don't want to do their investigation, if the FBI don't want to find out, which clearly I believe they know who did it, sit back, get out of the way, and let Candace Owens investigate. Let her do her job, because apparently you people, meeting the government, the White House, you don't give two shits about Candace Owens. You don't give two shits about Charlie Kirk and his family and what his family is going through and their children, when you actually know who actually killed him, who put a hit on Charlie Kirk. But you're just sitting back and just, gonna have a name, have a sign for Charlie Kirk and have his anniversary date and stuff like that. That's not enough. That's nothing. That's like a slap on the wrist. It's disgusting. Quite honestly, it's disgusting. Have a name for him, especially this man went through beyond to get President Trump into that White House. That man went over and beyond. And this is what you pay. This is the payback that you give for Charlie Kirk. Just a name, just a plaque, all that stuff is bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I want to show you a video of Candace Owens. Her yesterday went live. And I just don't understand people. I really don't. People just say the stupidest things, and they don't realize the shit that's coming out of their mouth, and then they don't realize you're an idiot, you're stupid. I know there's times I say stuff that comes out of my mouth that's like, oh shit, did I really say that? Maybe I should just and not say that. But this guy on this podcast, I don't know his name. They call him Alex, Adam, Sam, whatever the fuck his name is. Excuse my language again. I'm just so really pissed off that he said that Candace Owens don't have any friends. But I'm going to let you take a listen to what this gentleman had to say on this podcast. And forgive me, I don't remember the name of the podcast. I think this guy who's talking about Candace Owens, his name is Adam, Sam, Alex, who knows? But he is something. So take a listen to what he has to say.
The most valuable currency you have are the relationships you have, your friends. In my opinion, she's burned every bridge she's ever been associated with. Whether that's Turning Point USA, whether that's the Daily Wire, whether that's PragerU, Charlie Kirk, Steven Crowder. I don't know what's going on even in this room, but it's not like we're loving what she's doing these days. I'm asking you a serious question. Who are her friends at this point?
Oh,
to me, she's very lonely.
No, I think she's very close with Tucker. I do think she has
How many more can you name, though? Other than Tucker, genuine question. I'm not trying to throw her under the bus. Who's Candace's friends? Who are her allies? Can we name a name? Anyone?
Oh,
anyone?
She's got more than you would believe.
Name a name.
No, she's got a lot of them.
I'm sure that there's Twitter army out there.
Yeah,
but what famous names advocates are saying, I'm with Candace? Tucker, maybe? Who else?
No, she.
I can't name one.
First thing I'd like to clarify is I have never been friends with Steven Crowder. I just feel like that is really not good dirt to throw on my name. I just have better intuition than that. Secondly, my friend Charlie Kiirk just got shot in the neck, hence the reason we're doing this entire podcast investigation into what actually happened on that day. Now, you seem to be naming employers regarding the Daily Wire. I am still friends with every single one of my colleagues that I was friends when I went in there. And yeah, when you leave a job, you don't tend to hang out with management on your way out. So I'm not sure what you're referencing here. If you mean that I am not one of those basic bitches who needs to post every second of when I'm hanging out with people so that people think that I'm cool and I'm surrounded by individuals, you would be right. Because I'm a person who grew up on Kanye West's music, and it's so funny that I was blasting his early music, one of his first songs, All Falls Down, and he speaks about this. This is how they create the Matrix. Insecure men speak like that, okay? They want people who are insecure to allow terrible things to happen because they say, well, you can hang out with me. You can hang out with me. All you have to do is just not talk about the Epstein files, and you might get invited to Mar-a-Lago. Don't you want to be invited to Mar-a-Lago? Don't you want to go to Mar-a-Lago? Then why don't you look away when we talk about children being abused? It's so weird. Like, don't you want to have, like, really all of the invites to Mar-a-Lago, and you can hang out and get dressed up and hang out with cool people in Hollywood if you just look the other way when children are being abused? This is that mentality, okay? It's disgusting, it's gross, but more importantly, it is insecure. So I want to remind you guys that your real friends do not need to be famous,
That's
okay?
it.
My best friends are not famous, and you should be close with your family. You should have real value in your life. Part of the Matrix requires you to have this sort of instinct to think celebrities are cool and that they glitter and they're golden. The majority of them are pretty effed up and drunk. That's the reality.
That's it. And she is right about that. And the nerve of this guy, you know what I mean? She's lonely. Like, how do you know Candace Owens is lonely? You know what I mean? She has a full life. She has an incredible husband, 4 beautiful children. She is blessed. She has her family, her friends. Again, this guy is an idiot, okay? So basically he's saying you need celebrities to be your ally. You need celebrities to support you and to have your back. Bullshit. Like, he's stupid, okay? And I 100% agree with Candace Owens. 100%. Why the hell do you need celebrities for? What celebrities are going to do for you? Majority of these celebrities are miserable, on drugs, and drunk, like Candace Owens say. Half the time they're not even happy, okay? With all the success, money, the houses, the cars, them traveling, they're not even happy majority of the time. You know why? Because they don't have God in their life. That's the problem. They don't have God in their life, okay? They're miserable as F, okay? So why does she need celebrities to back them up? For what? So like she said, so you can be on their fan club and then just turn away the cheek when it comes to the Epstein files, when children are being molested and sex trafficking by older men, high powerful profile men, elites. So we should just turn a blind eye and just be in their club. No, celebrities are nobody. They're garbage. And for him to imply that she doesn't have any friends or she's lonely, how did he know? He makes no sense. You should have saw that other guy, which I don't know is Patrick. He was like looking out like she has plenty of friends, more than you know. Like, he's just talking out of his ass. He doesn't make any sense. And at the end of the day, he looks very foolish. He really do. And I'm just going to make a suggestion. I'm nobody here. But if you don't have nothing nice to say or any receipts to back it up, I suggest you keep your mouth shut. And I'm just saying this to this guy, Alex, Sam, whatever his name is. You know what I mean? I suggest you keep your mouth shut because it makes no sense for you to say all this stuff and because she's investigating Charlie Kiirk, because she's investigating his assassination. If you don't like what she has to say, then don't listen. Don't listen. But apparently you're listening and you're very curious what she has to say. So if you are curious what she has to say, don't talk shit about her. Which she doesn't care. But my thing is, if you really don't care, then don't watch her show. Don't watch her podcast. It's that simple. You know what I mean? By you saying all this, it's not going to stop her in her investigation with Charlie Kiirk. It is make you look ignorant and stupid, by the way. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That guy is an idiot. Now, next footage that I want you to listen to is still about Candace Owens, about the French government not saying anything what Candace Owens been posting on her social media page on X, Instagram, and TikTok about her attempted assassination. So take a listen to what Candace Owens had to say.
No, they didn't do it, did they? If you're paying attention, they did not do it. Of course, they send out the people on Twitter who get to come out and say, oh, I think she's crazy. I think she's making it up. They do this. We are always doing this every week. Oh, Trump never called her about Brigitte Macron. She's making that up for attention. Oh, she's lying. Charlie Kirk never changed his mind about Israel. She's making that up for attention. This is what we do every week, right? We're hamsters on a wheel. And so we're back to that again, right? People saying that I made it up. But what did the French couple do? That's what matters. It's now been a full week since I made that announcement. And here is the official response issued by the Élysée Palace. Nothing. Nothing. I want you to bear in mind that this was front page global news from the United States to Russia. And I publicly challenged the Candace is making everything up crowd to prove it. Press the White House for a response, right? The White House the ball is very firmly in their court. And a week later, this is the official White House response. So what are we to make of that, you guys? Did I report it to the White House? Of course I reported it to the White House. Did I report it to the FBI?
Yes.
Of course I reported it to the FBI. Did I report it to our counterterrorism unit? Of course
Yes.
I reported it because I'm telling you there's a paper trail. Common sense.
Exactly.
I think I'm just doing that because I'm assuming you could get a felony for making something up out of thin air like that. You can't just use United States resources to go after somebody in a plot that never existed that you did for clicks on YouTube. So what's the issue here? Why is no one coming out and telling you that that's completely baseless, especially the Charlie Kirk assassination? The whole world is invested in that assassination. Wouldn't you want to shut that down?
Yes.
The idea that it was a multinationally planned event. And by the way, is that on its face even plausible? Multiple agencies and multiple countries involved, from Egypt to Israel. People are saying that's totally crazy. No, it's the lone shooter who had never been on campus, who climbed the roofs like Spider-Man, happened to know where Charlie would be sitting and hit that shot in 4 seconds. Is it plausible that that's not the truth? Of course it's plausible. Anyone who knows anything about the French government probably knows that they have an appetite for cruelty and sexual deviancy. Anybody who has made it through the first couple of episodes of Becoming Brigitte knows that the French government has an appetite for cruelty and sexual deviancy, okay? LOL. The city of romance, really? Romance with who, exactly? That's one of the broader points of the Becoming Brigitte series. And so I'd like to thank Pavel Durov, the founder of Telegram, for being one of the first people to stick out his neck immediately and to assert what the entire world already knows about France. Here's what he said. He said, after reviewing everything Charlie Kirk has ever said about Macron's France, I find Candace's information about French involvement in his death entirely plausible. Charlie even called for 300% tariffs on France until the charges against me were dropped. And I also would like to shout out Freddie Ponton, who wrote this article reminding people, and when I say reminding, I mean teaching people, if you're me, because I didn't know this, that exactly this satellite of countries, France, Israel, the French Legion, United States, Egypt, were quite literally involved in exactly this sort of operation.
Okay, we can get out of this, but you get what Candace Owens is saying. Okay, if everything that she was saying and posted on her social media page, if everything was a lie, why are they not saying anything? Why are we not hearing a press conference or press release, of anything that what she's saying is false? Because they know it's true. They know it's true. They know it. We know it. The White House, the French government, they all know it's true. Okay? So let's not play these games. Okay? Let's not play these games. We all know that they had something to do with the death of Charlie Kirk. We all know that they tried to make an attempt to kill this woman, to scare her. And apparently, it's not working because I am so happy that she is back. I am so happy that, she is not stopping. She's not going to rest until until she gets to the bottom of the truth. And we all are tuning in. We all are listening. We all are go max because that's what we're doing. We are going max to the bitter end. And I stand with Candace 100%. I stand with God. I stand with the truth. I stand with everything, every fiber of my being. And we're not going to stop and we're not going to rest until Charlie Kirk until we find out who killed Charlie Kirk. Now, before I go on to my next segment here, if once Candace Owens find out what really happened and who killed Charlie Kirk, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Those people are not going to go to prison, okay? The perpetrators that were involved in this, because these are military government, identities can change. They probably disappear and go to another foreign country. There's not going to be any prosecution against these people at all. The only one person, unfortunately, is going to take the rap for this is Tyler Robinson, who is not the lone shooter, okay? Did he have some type of involvement? Yes. Did he shoot Charlie Kirk? I say no. I say no. Military people, military government was on the ground of Utah in that campus, okay? And it's sad to say they're going to kill or lethal injection of this innocent young man who's not even a student in that campus. So he's going to take the fall. The FBI is going to let this man be killed by lethal injection for something that he didn't do. You see what's happening here? This is our government. This is the FBI. This is what they do best. Rob, steal, and kill like the devil. That's what they do. They're not capable of doing the right thing. They're not capable of telling the truth. They're not capable of getting, They're not capable of getting the truth of what really happened to Charlie Kirk. They're willing to throw someone underneath the bus, blame someone, fabricate evidence and everything to make it look like this man, Tyler Robinson, assassinated Charlie Kirk when we all know that he didn't really do it. There's multiple people who are involved in this, okay? But the government wants you to think otherwise. The government don't want us to think. That's the thing. They want us to be programmed to listen to what they have to say, and that's about it. Well, joke's on them because no one's not listening. No one's not buying their BS narrative and anything. And it's sad and it's disgusting how the FBI have been doing this for decades. Decades. And can they be stopped? I don't think so. Because they've been doing it for so long. Who can stop them? This is the FBI. Who can, stop the FBI of corruptions and lying? No one can. No one can. So that's why I believe that no one's not going to be prosecuted. So even though Candace Owens is going to get to the bottom of the truth and investigate what really happened, I don't think any person that was involved in this is going to get prosecuted. They won't. And I have to be honest here with you guys, and that's just the reality, unfortunately. With the government, they tend to hide things, lie, make things seem like what it is when it really isn't. And I'm sorry, that's how it goes in our government. But I still want to know why this happened to Charlie Kirk, who was involved, and we just go from there. And I just want to let you take a listen to this video of Nick Fuentes, him talking about Erica Kirk. Now, I don't know what's his deal with Erica Kirk. I don't know what's the deal with a lot of people with Erica Kirk, how they're saying that her behavior, it doesn't seem like she's grieving the stuff that she says. For example, her hugging J.D. Vance, the outfit that she was wearing, this stuff that she's doing or saying is just very inappropriate. Her going to the White House. And I'm like thinking to myself, didn't she went to the White House when Charlie Kirk was alive? She did a lot of events with Charlie Kirk when he was alive, went to the White House and stuff like that. I don't see anything different. I don't see what she's doing is wrong. Obviously, if I notice anything that was out of the ordinary and things that was inappropriate, then yeah, I will call it out. That's how I am. I call shit out. But I didn't see anything that she was doing wrong. Everyone agrees differently. I don't understand why everyone is so focused on her. I just don't get it. You know what I mean? She's going to the White House. She's doing this. This is what Nick Fuentes is saying. I'm like, what is she doing wrong? But I'm going to let you take a listen to what he has to say about Erica Kirk, and then I will comment afterwards. So take a listen.
Nobody wants to say anything about Erica Kirk because she's a grieving widow. And so that's just decency. Nobody wants to attack a young woman who lost her husband to a vicious public execution and now has 2 fatherless children. That being said, nobody would be saying anything if she went home and grieved. But she didn't do that. She immediately assumed control of Turning Point USA, which already was one of the most influential, powerful, conservative nonprofits and for-profit entities.
First of all, obviously we all know Charlie Kirk had a will. And in an event that anything happens to him, everything goes to the wife. Everything goes to her. So I don't understand what's the big issue that she's the CEO of Turning Point. That's just a given. That's just common sense. You know what I mean? If anything happens to your spouse, you're the next of kin of everything. You know what I mean? So I don't understand that. Like, did she want it to be like? It's not like she asked to be the CEO. It's rightfully so that she should be the CEO of Turning Point. Her husband was the founder of that company. He started it from the ground up. It started from nothing, and now it is what it is today. So I don't understand that logic. But let's continue.
In the conservative movement, and which became far more powerful after Charlie died because of his apparent martyrdom. So within 72 hours, she becomes Charlie's successor. And now she's in Washington, D.C., it seems, all the time, with J.D. Vance, with Donald Trump, with all these other powerful people. Now, I'm going to tell you what I don't like. I don't like when people take tragedy or a sob story or something that's emotionally impactful, and they use it as cover so you can't ask questions or criticize. And I feel like that's what is happening here. Like I said, if she were a widow grieving, no one should or could say anything about her. It would be out of line. But we're not talking about Erica Kirk, the grieving widow. We're talking about Erica Kirk, the president of Turning Point USA and close personal friend of J.D. Vance, heir apparent of MAGA. We can't ask questions about who this person is. We can't criticize or be skeptical of who she is because she cries. See, that I feel is manipulative, and that I don't like. So when people start to tell me for emotional or moral reasons you can't ask that question, that's when I get even more suspicious. So Erica Kirk, I don't know her, and that's sort of the thing.
Now, what skeptical is he talking about? I would love for him to clarify that. And you can easily Google her before she met Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? I know she was in a beauty pageant, and she had a career before she met Charlie Kirk, which I don't remember. But I know that she definitely was a beauty pageant queen and stuff like that. But what's skeptical? You know what I mean? Like that part, I would love for him to clarify. Nick Fuentes, I would love for him to clarify that. So what is she going to the White House? And what's the problem? She's going to the White House a lot. And is it a crime? Now, I just have to say this. Erica Kirk, to me, what it seemed like, she's not a stupid woman, okay? She seemed like she's very smart and intelligent. And she said at one point when she did her first press release after her husband was assassinated, she even mentioned she knows everything. Okay, she knows everything. You think her husband has not told her everything about what was going on in his world and his life? Those two were like Yang. What is that saying called? I can't remember the saying, but they were like very close, tight-knit husband and wife. They didn't keep anything from each other. Okay, you don't think she don't know? You think she's stupid and dumb? Now, all I can say is this woman's not dumb. Maybe she's going to the White House to get close to certain high, powerful people, to get something, to know some knowledge, to know some information. I just have to say, I don't think she trusts the government. I don't think she trusts the people in the White House. That's just me saying that. I'm not saying Erica Kirk said that. I'm just thinking this woman's not dumb. I'm just going to put it to you this way. She's not dumb, she's not stupid, and she knows what she's doing. I have to say, if that was me on the other receiving end, and my husband got assassinated that way, I have full access to the White House. You don't think I'm going to take that opportunity to do what I need to do? to ask questions, to observe and this and that. That's all I'm going to say about that. All I'm saying is leave the woman alone. Let her grieve the way she wants to grieve. I don't see what she's doing wrong. Whatever she's doing, she's very smart about it. And she's not dumb and stupid. And I'm just going to leave it as that. You guys can think what you want to think. I already know what's the deal. I'm not stupid. I can read between the lines. And again, I don't have to have a degree in Harvard or Columbia or whatever you call it to see what I'm seeing. Because I know what's going on. I already know. And I'm not going to even say it because maybe I don't want to blow anyone's cover or whatever, but I know what's going on. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm definitely going to continue to pray for Erica Kiirk and her family and her children, and just leave her alone. Leave her alone. If she wants to go to the White House and be hanging out with J.D. Vance, but she's married, let her. If she wants to, with the talk to President Trump, let her. It's not like she haven't done that before when Charlie Kirk was alive. What's the problem? What's the issue? Look her up. And if you want to know more information about her, have an interview with her. Nick, have her on your podcast. I don't know. Figure it out. If you want to know more about this woman and you feel like she's off, you feel like she's not grieving properly, even though there's no manual how to grieve. Everyone grieves differently when they lose someone that they love and care about and have children with them. Maybe you should set up an interview with her. Maybe you should go to Arizona and go to Turning Point and ask her these questions. If you feel like whatever she's doing doesn't seem skeptical to you. Because I seen some of her interviews. I don't see anything skeptical. I don't see anything weird. I just see a grieving woman who lost the love of her life and now is a single parent and have to deal with 2 beautiful young children and running a company, Turning Point USA, which it was belonging to her anyway, whether Charlie Kirk was alive or not. At the end of the day, if Charlie Kirk was alive, obviously he'd be running his foundation, and then she'd be like right about his side. But again, he had a will, and everything goes to the next of kin. So who else would be the CEO of Turning Point? Andrew Corvat, the other people at the staff? No, because that would look very strange and inappropriate. So the next person who would be the CEO would be the wife. And God forbid something happens to the wife, it will be to the children. It's that simple. It's that order. So I don't see anything wrong. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that's all I have to say, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about everything I just said, and I will see you guys next time. Take care and God bless.